Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend just a little bit of time talking about the top 5 things in the game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I'm Ted Bannock, and we're going to keep talking about, you took my line. You already talked about, I was going to talk more about fives, Dave, and you took it. And we're going to have an awesome show, though, because we have some extra adventurers with us today that I'm excited to have on. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah. Micah, have you come up with a tagline since the last episode?
I'm Micah Quantz, and I'm from over on the Second Breakfast channel. I don't know. I'm from over there. I'm from the basement.
Just kind of wandered in.
Yeah. Wait, who's that guy?
I know what I'm doing here. That's my tagline.
Yeah. And Matt, do you have a tagline? You've had a tagline in the past.
Yeah, we could always use the blogs one. I'm reviewing the card pool one card at a time over at the cardtalk2018.com blog.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's just like at this point, you don't really realize how big the card pool is until you do it one at a time.
Yeah, if I were to compute the percentage complete, it's probably still in the low double digits.
It's a number we don't want to look at. Yeah.
That's probably not in the low double digits.
Percentage wise, I think, yeah.
Because I think that, I don't know, that's for a different show. We'll figure that out. Matt,
but hey, we're going to knock out 5 cards today, kind of, even though we've already reviewed them.
We're going to knock out more than 5, probably. And so fresh off of our extravaganza month here, we're going to keep going, or fresh in our extravaganza month, we're going to keep going with our top 5s. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the top 5 lore heroes. Okay. And so this is
Fiviest.
Yeah, the 5 lore heroes. And I mean, if you want to know how this worked, we didn't get any input from the general population. We just emailed and texted and basically sent out a survey to the 5 Card Talk folks. And based on our experience, we're going to come up with the top 5 cards in particular, and sometimes the bottom 5 cards in, because there's 5 of us, right? And so 5 just seems like a good number. So, and so it's good. We learned last time that the top of the list is pretty easy to deal with, when you're talking about the ones that we all agree on. And then we get down at the bottom, and then there's a lot of arguing maybe to be had. So, and then Frodo comes in for the win. Okay. But needless to say, should we get started on the lore heroes here?
Yeah. Let's pull up our voting results here from the top 5 lore heroes, brought to you by Card Talk.
Ted, I love your announcer voice. You were in radio once, right?
I was a professional broadcaster in a past life.
Yes. That's obvious.
Broadcaster to podcaster.
Yes. Right. Okay. So, what's the best lore hero there is in the game? Who's gonna say? Matt, what's the best lore hero in the game?
Messenger of the King Furial.
Okay, other than Messenger of the King Furial.
We'll throw some virtual punches over that one.
Matt is wrong.
That's not right. There's a couple of heroes that we all agreed on. Micah, here's your chance. No, shush, Ted.
Okay.
I'm letting the rookies take over here a little bit. Micah,
Great.
What's the best lore hero in the game?
Aragorn.
Yes. We all agreed that Aragorn deserves to be on the list. And again,
Every single list I'm looking here, yep, it's Aragorn on the top.
right. So I'm already gonna carve Aragorn's name. If we all agree, Lord Aragorn, it's just the way it goes. And Lord Aragorn, Matt goes with Spirit Glorfindel, right? Like, I mean, that's just the way that works.
Did he put Aragorn the lowest?
No, Aragorn was my number 2.
No, Aragorn was your number 3 on the list you submitted to me.
Yeah.
Am I looking at the wrong spot? No,
Yeah.
I might have been moving things around. I was shifting things around a lot on my list.
Matt's number 1 is Thurndir, and I have a lot of questions about that. But
I don't know if I necessarily actually submitted them in order.
I don't think anybody did except for Matt. But Matt works in a bank, so he likes to keep things nice and tidy. And
Yeah,
I don't know if
I might have made changes after or during and stuff, and so what I have in my copy paste list here might be off too. Because I had MOTK Furial at the top on my copy here.
Do you know what other hero we all agreed needed to be on the list? Ted? Ted, this is your chance.
Yeah, it's got to be Elrond.
Yeah, Elrond, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not Elrond with anything other. I mean, Elrond has Villiers, so like
no surprises there.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna carve Elrond into the list here right now.
Generally, if you're a hero that can wear a ring of power, you're good.
Yeah. Usually that's gonna be
you're a strong character,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kierdan didn't make our
anybody
list though.
Can wear the one ring.
Yeah,
but
anybody
still.
can wear the one ring, right? That's the ring of power.
And the magic ring.
Okay, and the magic ring.
The ring of
right.
power.
And the ring of Barahir.
And the ring of Thror.
The ring of Thror. Wow. No, that has to be a dwarf, I think.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's a dwarf.
Yeah. Anyways, so I think the top 2 are set. But now this is where it gets interesting. Okay. So there's Barivor, Aristor, Pippin, and Haldir all have multiple votes. And then we have, leading up with the people who had crazy ideas, like the one-off that maybe people didn't think about in lore was, we had Thurindir? Really, Matt? I regardless of where this goes, I have to hear why Thurindir. MOTK Furial was a one-off. Damrod. I don't know who put Damrod in there, but
that's me.
Yeah, whatever. No, not everybody can be perfect. I put my embarrassing pick was Haldan. I put Haldan in there, and somebody put Saruman. I think that was also Micah.
That's also me.
And then I think Lord Denethor was on that list too, but I'm going to kick Denethor off of the list. So I'm just going to do. Grant's not here to defend himself. Whatever.
So out he goes.
Yeah. But I mean, a couple of the, Barivor, Aristor, Pippin, Haldir. I'd be interested to hear what Matt has to say about his 2 picks to see if it makes me change my mind about, Pippin or somebody who I have lower on the list, maybe Barivor. So. Matt, what's why Thurindir? Why MOTK Furial?
All right, so Furial, especially solo, is like almost cheating because you just quest with her and you look over the top card and you're like, do I actually want to reveal this or not? And you can pitch it or whatever. And if it says Surge, it's like, yep, pitch that, go to the next card. So just having that right off the bat at the start of the game, and she's 3 willpower, so she could be your questing hero. It's like, yeah, and she's 9 threat, same as Eowyn. So if you're not running Spirit, she's a strong contender in just about any solo only deck.
It's a solid pick.
Yeah,
it's a very good reason. Yes.
Yeah, solo she's very good. So yeah. I may have to.
I think though, I guess what threw me off about that is I guess we didn't really lay the groundwork if we were considering MOTK on
But
the list.
really,
I
would
didn't
you
enter it.
consider any
my-
other MOTK? Would there be any other MOTK you would consider other than Furious?
In
or
different.
Top?
So in lore, no, but other spheres, yes, and I would probably
Okay.
put that on. I would say maybe we'd open up a slot for like separate for MOTK. Because otherwise, like, yeah, then I'd have to. I never really considered like, oh, every
That would be
ally in the
interesting.
game. But if you were to consider all the MOTKs out of every single sphere, she would be one on the list, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
like his best target.
It's like kickers making the NFL Hall of Fame, right? They never do it, but at some point somebody's got to be the best kicker, and eventually will make the NFL Hall of Fame. So
In lore, I've played MOTK Iorith just for the super low threat because she's one threat.
Right.
So if you're going for secrecy, like she beats out Spirit Glorfindel just in pure low threat. you at least get healing out of it, so it's useful.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Never done it, but
listen, MOTK Eorith is not on this list, so
Anyway.
we gotta
All right,
stick to
back-
that. Yeah. Gotta
bring it back to Thurindir.
Yeah, like
So-
that was actually out of all of them, other than Micah's weird Damrod pick. Like Thurindir was the most surprising because that.
It is a surprise. That is a
So
surprise.
I'd like to
pick.
hear
Yeah.
your reasoning behind that.
It's just purely like side quests became such a big part of the later game. Like even not running your own player's side quests, he scales up really well, and you still can throw in Legacy Blade. It's 0 cost. So as soon as you have 1 or 2, suddenly he's questing for a few with a little bit of readying. You could get him attacking for about the same amount. So it's not unusual to have him going in at like 4 or 5 willpower and then attacking with 4 or 5. Pair him up with Caleb's ally art hero that can scale up as well. And it's like, yeah, the side quest bonus deck can get really crazy.
Yeah, it's his effect is. I mean, it's strong, like a very specific targeted search effect like that at setup. I mean,
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a strong
gather
effect, they don't-
information. The storm comes, they're neutral, and they both have really useful effects on a lot of decks. And
Yeah.
with lore access, you got Scout Ahead to take out one card that's your bane of your existence from like the top 6 in solo, and it gets up higher in multiplayer.
yeah, that's,
Yeah, I still don't think he makes the top 5 of my list, but
clearly not.
clearly not. And Micah, what's your defense of Damrod?
Damrod. Okay, so I mean, my list was also like it's more about, I guess, the heroes I have the most fun playing.
Okay.
The ones I have the best time with, I guess, and I love traps. And if I'm doing lore, it's a lot of the times I'll be playing with traps. And I mean, he gives you traps for cheap and card draw on top of that. So
Traps for cheaps and card draw. Yeah, not not convincing to be in the top 5. I always picked. I mean, this is one of the things. Since Micah, you brought up how you kind of picked your 5. I always wanted to pick one core set hero or one core set card that was like the surprise of the thing, and like that's where I got. Spirit Awen, for example. Spirit Awen is great, but she may not be on the best spirit hero, of course. But like when you really figure out Barivore, Barivore's good, and that would be a great thing if it's not eroded, right, Ted?
if only.
If only, right?
But that's how you also know a hero is good, when you needed an errata.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so do we stick to the ones that have votes and argue over who gets tossed off the list? Barivore, Aristor, Pippin, and Haldir?
Yeah.
I think we
so.
ha-
This
I think so.
one's had multiple votes. So I think they were listed there for a reason by us.
Yeah.
Right?
Barivore. I think Barivore stays on the list. I mean, I picked Barivore.
Hmm.
Grant did not,
I did not,
and you did not.
but
I
but
did.
really, yeah. I don't know.
Card draw is so important, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that
Definitely.
putting
Definitely, she belongs.
Yeah, she belongs.
It's a more. I mean, it's a very basic, strong effect that you could
Right.
that you can target, and a lot of people will argue that Aristor is much better at drawing because he is, but they do it in such a different fashion.
Yeah.
They're so very different from each other, right? And Barivore is more the
Barivore you can do a lot with. Aristor you really have to play around him.
right. Your whole deck is built around as opposed to Barivore, which is much more flexible.
Yeah.
And
is Barivore pick a player, draw 2 cards,
yeah,
as opposed to Aristor.
So I think her value goes up in multiplayer then because you can hand out cards, which is fun. It's fun to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm inclined to keep Barivore on the list for that reason. It's kind of like the quintessential lore ability. Right?
Yeah.
Like
quintessential
give somebody
lore line.
Give somebody cards.
2,
right? Like just boom.
Yeah. 2/2/2/4. It's always
okay. I'm not happy about that.
Right. So then it comes down to Aristor, Pippin, and Haldir, right? Like, I mean, Pippin
was
2.
on my short list for this because that 6th threat fits in so well, and it's like, hey, I get to draw a card occasionally.
You didn't have to bring Hyde into it. Putting him on your short list.
Unintentional, but I'll take it.
That sounds like Ted's opening the show. Welcome to our short list, everybody. Today we're going to be discussing hobbits.
That is a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
So here's the thing: Cardboard of the Rings, Aristor, Haldir, always fighting, right? Like Cardboard of the Rings.
That's true. Now that you bring it up,
quintessential.
Yeah, they're DQ'd.
They're DQ'd. Oh well, Damrod makes the list.
Damrod makes the list. Why? Out of spite, mostly.
I would be inclined, like now that I hear Matt talking about MOTK Furial, I feel like that would be really good on the list. Like the problem with Haldir is if you're playing solo, of course you're going to kind of build around Haldir, but Haldir's ability only works if you're not engaging critters all the time, like, and that's frustrating. Well, I mean, that's what it is, right? Like, so I've played solo Haldir decks, and it's frustrating, to have Haldir because you're not sniping things in the staging area. Haldir's great when you're playing multiplayer, but
right, and that's right. See, that's just kind of our mindset of how we voted because I'm like, oh yeah, like just 3 printed ranged attack is just like good to start,
right?
And then he's kind of and then he's in lore, like to boot, which you just don't.
Well,
see that,
And I like I also like for me like I almost never play solo either, so something like Furial is not quite as good in a multiplayer.
Well, I mean, this list isn't going to write itself, guys. Like,
so we got this. So I think we're all agreed on Pippin, is what it sounds like.
It's hard to. I mean, he's low threat. He adds threat to engagement cost, and you get a good chance at drawing a card. Like, and he quests for 2.
At
It's
this
hard to
point,
beat
you
that
know.
value.
At this point, you know how much I play Hobbits.
Huh. Never.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's so Pippin's on the list, and now we have to decide between Aristor and Haldir, or Thurindir, or MOTK Furial.
Wait. I mean, if we're gonna choose to roll MLTK in the list, which again I just didn't think about when I was doing it. I mean that's a very legitimate pick. And even though it doesn't go, even though she gets worse the higher player count, it's still good.
Yeah. MOTK
Yeah.
Furial is really good. You don't have to draw it. You don't have to pay the 5 to play it. Like you just get to do that. I mean, I will throw in my defense of Haldan really quickly because, Haldan doesn't exhaust a quest.
Do not include the art description in your reason.
Okay. Will not. But, the fact that, when there's an active location, he doesn't exhaust a quest is good. Whether you're playing with, the other part with the attachments on locations, like just his stats to be able to, quest without exhausting and then to be able to attack, like that's good.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's good.
I actually just made a burglar's turn deck with him.
Yes, he's the original burglar. Haldan is really good at being a burglar.
Yeah.
But he fits into
Got Burgles Bilbo.
Yes. So that's my defense of Haldan, but am I swaying anybody with the defense?
But not that good.
Oh, okay. He's not going on the list. So look, we have a 5th place. Okay, so the 5th place, MOTK Furiel, Aristor, or Haldir. Like, who's going to go in that?
You know what? I will. Matt's reasons for Furiel are good. So I'm gonna actually.
I'm good with that.
Wow.
I'd love to see Aristor on there, but I'm good with Furiel. Furiel is good.
Matt, who are you picking?
I mean, she's my top pick because skipping a card, like if you just don't like that first encounter card, just like, nope, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's MOTK Furial. Wow. In this is why we do this, right? Like you think Aristor Haldir is going to make your list, and then all of a sudden you're like, MOTK Furial sneaks in on the list, and it's like it's just very good, And the neat thing about the Messenger of the King heroes is that if you are, revised content only, you do not need the Messenger of the King card really to play it. You just put the ally in as a hero, add up their stats.
You don't have Furiel either.
Right.
Yep.
Well, you could.
That's where you start going to all the people who do the alt arts, and they've made the MOTK
That's
heroes as hero alt arts.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the thing: we could take Elrond off the list and put Aristor there. I don't know.
Seems a bit rash.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Noldor for Noldor, right? So we have Aragorn, Elrond, Barivor, Pippin. Pippin. Which one of these is not like the others? And MOTK Furial. Now, are we just doing this to spite Cardboard of the Rings? Like,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
perfect.
Good. Okay. As long as we're on the same page, that's fine. Okay. Great. There you have it. There's our.
There's our list. There's our list, and it's super good.
Yep.
And enjoy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Ted's wrapping up the show. Ted's like, okay, everybody, see you later.
A wrap.
That's a wrap. Okay, everybody, that's it. That's our lore heroes. And join us again on the next show as we tackle another set of heroes or another set of top 5 or another whatever it is that we're going to do. And we will see you later, everybody. Have a great day.
Do you love the content? Here's what you can do to stay connected.
Become a patron. The money collected through Patreon goes into keeping the lights on here at the podcast. We love our patrons, and you can join at many different levels. Visit patreon.com/cardtalk2018. You can subscribe to us, whether you're watching our YouTube channel or you're listening to us in your favorite podcatcher. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of all our new episodes. Didn't know we were an audio podcast? Find us by searching Card Talk to get access to our 120 plus regular episodes. Didn't know we were a video channel? Find us by searching Card Talk LOTR LCG on YouTube. And there you can find not only our regular episodes, but you can find our bonus playthroughs and other content related to the game. Want to get a hold of Ted, Grant, or myself? Feel free to email the podcast at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.